Hello my TBDs, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. I am going to be playing around with this, doing a first impressions, and also comparing this to the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I thought that this might be a dupe for this, so we will see. First, I want to take you through some of the logistics of this palette. It is $13.99. It's currently out of stock on Ulta. This palette has 3.5 stars out of 5, and it currently has 3 reviews. So online it says that this is a palette that has wearable neutrals but also some pops of color, and it's supposed to be highly pigmented. That's what it said on Ulta's website. This palette has 12 shades total. It has 7 mattes, and then the rest of them are like glitter / shimmer shades. Looking at it through the pan right here, it looks pretty glittery, so we will have to see. But yeah, 7 mattes, 4 glitter shades. So it says that this is infused with a fresh citrus scent, so I love palettes that have a chocolatey or a vanilla scent to them, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm going to use this palette on my eyes and just get a feel for how they apply, if they are super pigmented, what I think about them, and then we will transition to seeing if this is actually a dupe for the Modern Renaissance palette. I'm going to scoot you guys just a little bit closer so we can start playing. I've already done the rest of my face makeup, including setting and prepping my eyelids. This is a closer look at the palette. It's got a lot of great transition shades, very colorful, very suitable for springtime, and these big pans are the glitter shades right here. Let's just dip in. I don't know what look I want to do yet, but I'm excited to play around with it. So first I'm going to take a large fluffy brush and go in with the shade called Sorbet. I also really like that they have the names printed right underneath each eyeshadow so you know what shade you're using. So again, I'm taking that shade Sorbet, and I'm going to start this in my crease. It might be a little too light for me because it looks like this is the color of my skin tone, but let's try. That's just not showing up at all on my skin tone. If you are fairer, then this might be a good shade for you, or just a general like blending shade. That would be really good. I think next I'm going to go into this berry ice shade right here. I'm not seeing this show up very well. It seems like this is a softer shade just because it is crumbling a little bit when I'm dipping my brush into it. So I'm starting to see it show up a little bit, but not too much. It might just be because it's too light of a shade. I don't know. I'm really digging my brush in there and I'm just not getting a lot of pigment. So it is showing up a little bit, but it's not as pigmented as I thought it was going to be. I'm really having to work this shade up in my crease just to even get it to show up. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna take the shade called Ice Pop. It's this really pretty dark pink shade right there, and I'm taking a denser brush. This is the MAC 217. Oh, don't drop it. I'm gonna take this and put this into my outer V. I'm not seeing that these are super pigmented. I mean, it's showing up, but I'm really rubbing my brush in there. So this might be a really great palette if you are a beginner at using eyeshadows or pops of color. I like that pink shade. I'm going to take this bright yellow shade. It's called Lemonade Craze. I'm going to go in with a different fluffy brush and start working this into my crease. I don't know if it's just because these transition shades are so light. It's not really showing up that well. I don't know how I feel. These shades are just so not very pigmented. This, so far, the shade has been the most pigmented out of all of them. So let's just, I guess, go back in and rebuild this up. So far, my thoughts on the mattes are just, they're kind of eh. They're taking a while to build up, and like I am very much dipping my brush in there. And maybe they made it less pigmented so that they can be more wearable. I don't know, but I'm just having a harder time building up the color. I really want to take either citrus or main squeeze up here. I forgot to smell it, so let's see if it smells like citrus. I definitely think it smells like citrus. It actually smells pretty good. So I'm going to take this shade called Old Fashioned down here. It's a dark matte brown, and start working this into the outer V, like the very outer V. What? I am a little disappointed with this palette so far. Like, can you just give me a little bit more pigment? It's not too much to ask. Moving on, I'm gonna take the shade Citrus right here. It's a really pretty shimmery gold. So that is swatching pretty well. It's just glitter. It's almost like this doesn't have pigment, it's just glitter. What? I'm so frustrated with this palette right now. Like, the shimmer shades are not pigmented. Let's see if the shade Main Squeeze is more pigmented. I'm just gonna put this on top. No, it's still a glitter shade. And it has bad fallout. I just dropped all of my brushes on the floor. Now I can't get all this fallout off of my face. Alright, so far I'm not loving this palette. Let's do the lower lash line. Pick up all my brushes. I'm going to take this flat definer brush and go in again with Old Fashioned right here. I don't like this look. Alright, I'm going to add some mascara and liner and hope that it saves this look. I am not a fan of this glitter shade. It almost is like a topper. I wonder if the other shades, Sugar Coated and Strawberry Lemonade, are better. I mean, they're really soft. Maybe I would have been better to go in with these two shades. Already, I can tell you this is not a dupe for the Modern Renaissance palette, I don't think. I'm gonna add a little bit of black liner. After using this palette, I'm not sure why it was so hyped up. It's $14, so it's not like a bad price point, but if I were you, I would just go ahead and buy something similar like the Modern Renaissance palette or something, because it's going to be way more pigmented. You're not going to have glitter fallout all over your face. The only color that somewhat impressed me was this shade. Like, this was the only shade that was somewhat okay. So here's the final look. Overall, I'm a bit disappointed in how this palette performed. I am going to insert swatches and compare them to the Modern Renaissance palette, but I can already tell you it's not a dupe. It's not nearly as good as the Modern Renaissance palette. There is a reason why everyone loves the Modern Renaissance palette, and I don't think that this lived up to it at all. Like, yeah, the look kind of came out okay, but I was really disappointed in the process of applying these. It took way too long to build any of these colors up. The mattes almost didn't show up on my skin. Like, when we look at it, this shade, this shade, this shade, and this shade don't even show up on my skin. That's 4 out of the 12 shades that I can't even use because I don't see them on my skin. I don't even see the yellow. I don't see this light pink shade that I put. I don't see any of that in my crease. So overall, I do not think that this is worth it, but let's just go ahead and compare it, and I can show you the side-by-side swatches of this compared to the Modern Renaissance palette, and you already know my thoughts. I don't think that it is the dupe, but I want to show you anyway. Let's just move into the side-by-side swatches. Okay, so this top row is the Modern Renaissance palette. I tried my best to match colors with the Lemonade Craze palette, which is on the bottom here. I did have to really build up these 3 shades at the bottom. They just would not go on. As you can see, this glitter shade is just pure glitter. This shade is very, very vibrant, which I was pleased about, and I noticed they swatched better using my fingers than using my brush. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down in the comments if you had tried this palette. Did it work for you? What are your thoughts on it? And don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on my future videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!